Hi everyone, it's me, hopefully Skinny, and it's been a while since I have done an update last. So a lot's kind of happened, and I've had to deal with some things that I really haven't dealt with before. So, like, when I first got this surgery, I was really adamant about dealing with things before you have the surgery, because even if you have the surgery, those things are going to come up again and you're going to slip back into old habits and your old way of coping. And I honestly thought that I had dealt with a lot of issues. I thought that I had was well on my way to finding other means of coping with stress and disappointment and all of that. So moving up here, I've kind of lost a lot of friends, and just because they're in California and I'm in Washington, we're 2 states away, and working at home and the weather and stuff has really left me sitting with myself. And it's not necessarily like a bad thing, but it made me really focus on a few things that I just haven't dealt with, because right after surgery, my mom had passed, and I wasn't focusing on that at all, because it just hurt way too much. I just couldn't. I was focusing on all these new experiences that I had after surgery, the attention, the mobility, the opportunities that I had that I didn't have before I lost the weight. And it brought up a few things, like basically how I was treated vastly different when I was 600 pounds to, losing 300 pounds, losing 400 pounds, and seeing how I was changed, how much attention I got, how I treated myself, and so I was really focused on all those new things. And I want to say I was surface happy because I didn't have to deal with anything deep or super meaningful, because I was just focused on all these shallow new experiences that I was having. And I knew they were shallow, but they were really important experiences for me to have, because I didn't have them when I was younger. And so in order to develop further than I had to have those experiences and go through what I went through. And it seemed very selfish to a lot of people at the time, and maybe it was. I'm not sorry that I went through those experiences. Like I said, a lot of people were able to have those experiences in their teen years, and I was already heavy in my teenage years, so I didn't get to experience any of that. So like my focus was really focused on dating and meeting people and being social and doing new things, and I didn't really focus on the inner things. I focused on my food and my diet, my exercise, but I didn't focus on the grief of the loss of my mom. I didn't focus on the grief of not having my friends understand what I was going through. I didn't focus on things that made me unhappy before weight loss that had nothing to do with my weight. My career, what I expected from life, furthering my education if that's what I wanted. I didn't really focus on any of those things. And then I come up here and I'm just really present of myself being up here. And for a few months I grieved very quietly for my mom, and it's been like 3 years since she's passed. And there was a day when it felt so raw, like she had just passed, and I went into a little bit of a panic attack, and it was really sobering. So and those happen off and on. I wasn't present with being present exactly how I felt with the situation at Pair Plus One, being very angry at me and not being able to fix it or adjust to it. And I kept asking myself, like, how can I make this better? You know, what can I do? Like, you know, why isn't anything I'm trying working? Why is it only making things worse? And taking on the responsibility of how that person felt, when in actuality it was just, that's how they feel. It's okay how they feel. I can't change it. You know, all I can do is just be the best person that I can. And it's still hard, because I really liked the person, but you know, you have to kind of move on. You can't hang on to something you can't control. I've been going through therapy, and I have been struggling. I am pretty stagnant at 318 right now, when I try to get down to 2. I think my goal weight was 298. From 311, I have kind of fluctuated between 315 and 325, and I had to ask myself, like, why am I not going to the gym that's just down the street from me? Why am I continuing to make bad choices with food? You know, why am I being lazy? And I realized that I was kind of sabotaging myself. And here is what I want to talk about, the self-sabotage, is that there is, sorry, my dog is just going to town on that bone. I could take it away, but there's 1,000 other bones. Just find another one and bring it in here. So there's like, self-sabotage is going to happen when you have fear of change. And my biggest thing is, change is really hard. And when I go about the change, I literally have to jump in blindly for that to happen. If I think too much about it, the change is very difficult for me to do. So I just have to kind of jump in feet first and hope the water is warm and welcoming. But this is my fear. When I first had the VSG, I had it without having a significant other. And so I could pretty much do whatever I wanted, stock the house however I wanted to eat. There was only good things for me to eat. You know, there were only things that I can stomach to be in the house. But also, I didn't have to worry about someone else's emotional well-being in the home while I was going through this transition. And the people that were my best friend mostly, you know, we'd been friends for so long, and there were just times when I had to say things that she didn't like. You know, when I remember told her that the person that was her best friend before surgery died, and she didn't like hearing that. And I remember her being really upset with me and saying, but I liked that person. And it was like, yeah, I liked her too, but she wasn't healthy. So here's the thing. I'm in this great relationship. I love my boyfriend to pieces. He's been super supportive of some negative changes that have happened in my life. And when I lost after the first surgery, I literally, my personality changed the day of the surgery after I came out of it. And he fell in love with me 2 years out of surgery. And I am worried that when I have this other surgery, that my personality will change again and will disrupt our relationship. There's also some very logical things. I am wrapped up into our relationship. You know, my finances, my home, my dog, my possessions, my happiness are all wrapped up in this relationship. So it's terrifying for me to think that things will change in that regard. And I'm sure they will. Just not sure if they will change in a manner that's positive. So that's one thing that I'm very, very scared of. I'm terrified of the change. You know, I'm terrified of, you know, what the weight loss is going to cost me, you know. So the cost isn't always time and exercise and food. honestly, food, if I wasn't self-sabotaging myself, there's times when I'm eating food I'm like, I don't even like, or, I don't even want it. So there's that. So being present with that and knowing why I'm self-sabotaging is the first step, but it doesn't always make it easy to stop what I'm doing. The second thing is so being up here, I was working for my virtual page and they lost a couple of clients and they had to lay me off. And so I was working at home and I had a job and all this stuff, and they laid me off at the first of the year. And it was very difficult. It's still very difficult. I've been applying for jobs and been doing all this stuff, and it's just a really difficult time, and it really kind of put me in a depression. And also my boyfriend's working nights, so I don't get to see him very often. We're always sleeping, so I don't get to see him too much. And so we're I feel like we're kind of like ships passing in the night, being cliche and all. And the second thing is that I realized as I was getting depressed, where it was really hard for me to get out of bed, and then when I was out of bed, it was hard for me to get off the couch. It was hard for me to even take a shower or clean the house, or heaven forbid, even taking my dog potty. Then I had to really sit with it and say, wow, I'm depressed. And then I looked back on so many other times in my life where I felt like that, and I realized that I might have a problem with depression. That this person that I thought I was pretty easily happy, and that I was pretty easygoing, and I wasn't very complicated. All of a sudden I realized that maybe there are symptoms here that I'm choosing to ignore. And how is this depression affecting my weight loss and my ability to function? Is this going to affect my surgery if I get it? So I'm going to talk to my therapist about it to see how to be diagnosed. I have no idea how to be diagnosed. If there's some type of program that will help me with that. So yeah, and like I said, the 2 years I had surgery, I was on very much high, and I come to realize that wasn't real. It was, it wasn't fake, but it wasn't real. It wasn't really my life. It was like a hiatus, like a fuzzy memory almost. So there's that. But with that, and I remember in my 20s, like the things that I wanted was a happy relationship, was, a beautiful home, a boyfriend that loved me and supported me, and, not to want for, anything, and, the ability to, to do what I wanted to do. And why I do have these things, first time that I've had all of them, I realized that it's not enough. My boyfriend's enough. I love him. It's not that he's not enough. It's that I want more, but I don't necessarily know what that more is. So that's where I'm at. It is 12:49 a.m. and I've kind of tried to go onto a night schedule since I'm not working, so I can spend more time with my boyfriend. And I'm just kind of waiting for my phone to charge because I ran it down, so that I can take it to the gym, so I can maybe go on the elliptical for 30 minutes or 45 minutes and then go sit in the hot tub. But I need music to really focus, otherwise I get bored. And I'll be honest, I get really bored exercising now. I always got a little bored if I didn't have music. Since I'm up and it's the middle of the night and my gym's 24 hours and it's down the street, I'm gonna go to the gym. So I want to say thank you everyone who watches these videos and is super supportive of me. So yeah, and even though I'm not nearly as heavy as I was, 4 years ago, It's really depressing that I have gained more than 100 pounds back, but the weight gain is stabilizing, and my biggest goal in all honesty is to lose enough weight so that I can have my loose skin removed, because that's really cumbersome and uncomfortable, and it really really brings down my mobility. And I don't ever want to be skinny, like super skinny. That's just really not my goal. My goal is to just be able to be more mobile. I just want to be able to pick my legs up more and be able to jump around. Even when I was 205, I still had so much loose skin on me. I couldn't run, I couldn't jump, I couldn't skip, there was a lot of things I couldn't do because the loose skin would pull and tear and hurt and pull strain on my back. So I'm just really trying to get low enough where I can have that loose skin removed. I actually have 2 months on this program to lose about 20 pounds before I have to start all over. So I'm going to be trying super, super hard, and wish me luck. Oh, and I have a Fitbit. I'm sure you guys all know because I posted it on Facebook. But if you have a Fitbit, please add me, and let's do challenges together. Let's be supportive. So all those people that still watch me and still follow my story, thank you for your support. For the new people, I hope that I can give you insight on what life is like during the highs and lows of after surgery, so that you're better prepared. And like I said, for me, it's always been so much an emotional journey as well as physical. So until next time, bye everyone, and I hope the other side of surgery is as bright for you as it has been for me. And remember that when you're on any diet or exercise, if it's too good to be true, chances that it is. And please consult with your healthcare professional before trying any extreme diet or health choices. So until next time, bye.